Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 216 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and this is a very, very, very special episode because we are celebrating the 4-year anniversary of Membership Academy. And of course, that celebration could not be complete without my partner, the other membership guy. Many, including her, would say the better half of the Membership Guys, the one and only Callie Willows.
Woohoo! I can't believe it's actually been 4 years already. That's crazy.
It really, really is. And at least now we have a bit of an explanation for why all these grey hairs are starting to kick in.
Yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So, for those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a while, you will know that every year when the anniversary of the Academy comes round, myself and Callie like to get a little bit nostalgic, like to come onto the show and to share our thoughts over the past 12 months, talk a little bit about how our business has developed, about the ups and downs and so on. And so for this episode, we thought we'd actually specifically talk about the major ups and downs within our business over the last year. So we've got 7 ups and 3 downs. Technically, it's kind
I'm liking the proportions there, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think if it was the other way around, maybe we'd have something to worry about. Maybe we'd be a little more downbeat. So we're going to single out some of the big highlights and also some of the things that I wouldn't say haven't gone as well, but certainly things that maybe we're looking at as we come to the end of the year and we're thinking, okay, these are things we want to change. These are things we would have done differently or what have you. So anyone who listened to last year's anniversary episode will know that we talked quite a bit about the new membership roadmap that we just brought into the Academy. And we talked about how that brand new roadmap was kind of the evolution, the culmination of several years worth of work, and how our intention with that roadmap was for it to be kind of the last big piece of the puzzle, the final major new development, major overhaul in terms of content for the Academy.
Yeah, and we did already have a roadmap in place, but the existing roadmap was more of a navigational tool.
Yeah.
And the new roadmap was more of a complete, it's a course essentially.
It's an epic course.
Yeah, it's an 11-stage course that takes you from first thinking about a membership site to 90 days post-launch and everything you need to do in between.
Yeah,
so,
and it's essentially a course that is designed to be worked through essentially over a space of like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like it is a fully comprehensive beast.
Yeah. The whole aim when we were creating it was to be able to take somebody from idea to launch and beyond in 90 days.
Yeah.
And we've achieved that.
Yeah.
You know, since implementing that roadmap, it's definitely helped retention. It's helped member results. It's just been awesome all round.
Yeah.
Like, the previous roadmap was good, but this is just a whole new level.
Yeah. So the one we had before was more about helping people decide what of our other content, so what other courses, what other tutorials in the Academy, what they should do and when, what order they should do them in. It wasn't an educational piece. It wasn't a walkthrough.
It wasn't content in itself.
It wasn't content. It was just a curriculum, right? A roadmap of the other content that we had. So yeah, when we brought in the all new membership roadmap as part of the Academy 3.0 changes that we brought in at the end of year 3, we really had high hopes for it, and so it's a huge positive. Definitely the biggest up on my list that actually those hopes have been realised, probably beyond what we thought they would be. The reaction has been so great. As Callie said, the proof is in the pudding in terms of the results that our members are now getting. The sort of feedback that we've had just about how much people are finding it useful, for giving them that direction, for helping them piece everything together. It's a major positive. We knew it was good, but you never really know until it's out there. And so, yeah, over the last 12 months, just seeing this roadmap in effect, seeing how people are using it, hearing their reactions, seeing the results that they're getting has been such a major positive for us.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was hard as well because we loved the old style roadmap. Like, even just from a visual point of view, the old school roadmap was awesome. It was a big feature that a lot of people came into the academy and were like, wow, how can I have that?
But
So
the thing
away
with
from that
but the thing with that though is it was a real cool feature from an aesthetic and a technical point of view, and it was cool for we're big fans and we really advocate giving people that guidance, that pathway through your content, and so it was a great way of doing that for our members, and from a functional point of view, it was an awesome feature. I would actually say the aesthetic and the functionality, the techie stuff, the cool stuff in the original roadmap, I still kind of prefer to the techie and the aesthetic stuff from the new roadmap, because the new roadmap is very much more a more traditional course, and it's not as
it's
cool.
An action-based course, but a course.
Yeah, it's very action-driven, but it's still it's a course that needs to be structured like a course. Whereas the original roadmap was just a real cool techie kind of feature, and because of that, a lot of people really liked it. So that leads into a very, very quick one, actually, the second up of the last year. When we're talking about the roadmap, the double-edged sword and the real good thing, I think, about running a membership for memberships is that you are a case study. Everything that you do is something that people can draw inspiration from, they can learn from, and they can adapt and try to emulate and all that sort of stuff. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? Like, we teach you all this stuff, so our content's awesome and all the tools and resources we give you is awesome. You'll get a lot from that, but you also get a lot just from looking at what we do. Now, a result of that is a lot of people want to do exactly what we do. So when we bring in this real cool custom designed, custom built feature like the original roadmap, then people want that.
Yeah, and it's difficult because on the one hand, you can understand it, but on the other hand, there's this element where the way it was created at the time was very specific to us.
Yeah, it was very, very custom.
And also, we also need to have some things that are just for us.
Yeah.
We give members a lot with the member-only theme and things like that to help them have a similar site to us, but we also need certain things that are proprietary to us.
Yeah, what we don't want to do is just encourage a legion of copycats who put features onto their website literally just because we have them on ours, rather than thinking about what their users need. And so, that is the double-edged sword of having real funky, real cool stuff on our website, is people want to copy those features for their own. And with the roadmap, there was nothing else out there that really enabled you to do what we were doing in the same way that we were doing it. So because we have the member-only theme, which is our WordPress theme, that is designed for memberships. A lot of the features, a lot of the design is inspired by our own site. There was definitely, I would say, a contingent within the membership who just thought that the roadmap feature was going to be added into that. And as Callie said, for two main reasons, we couldn't do that and we didn't do that. One, it just wasn't, as a feature, the way we built it just wasn't suited, or would require probably too much work to make it suitable for distributing to hundreds and hundreds of people in a way that they could just use in their site. When we're building stuff just for our site, it doesn't matter really if it's kind of held together with sticky tape under the hood, because we're the only ones who need to use it. But when you put it into a theme and you give it to other people, it needs to be a lot more robust. It needs to, anytime I build something for member only, I need to think about, like, how many different ways people will want to use it, right? And how can I create this feature in a way that is flexible enough to suit all these different ways people have their sites, while also being true to the design and the function and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling about the techie, boring stuff. So the big up for us this year was that we were able to add the roadmap into member only. So we released a major update for member only in July, was it?
June,
July.
Yeah.
And we added loads of real cool stuff to it, but the thing that just really, really satisfied me to be able to finally give to people after they'd been asking for it for 2 years, 3 years, was the ability to create their own roadmaps in the same style, the same look and feel as our original roadmap. Because we weren't holding that feature back out of spite or laziness or any other dumb reason. So anytime anyone was kind of like, hey, can we create this roadmap with member only? We're like, no, sorry. It was gutting. I hate having to say to people, no, you can't do that with my theme. So it felt really, really good to finally be able to say, guess what? We've added roadmaps. That was cool.
Yeah, you got a lot of great feedback on that.
Yeah, people were very, very happy that we were able to add that in. So that was a definite highlight. It's a real specific one and probably a real small one to many of you, but kind of almost 3 years in the making of being able to deliver this really cool feature in our theme. So yeah, it's a silly up, but it's certainly one that I think is appreciated by everyone using the member-only theme.
Yeah, and I don't think it's silly at all because there's a lot of work goes in from you on these themes. You spend hours coding and developing this.
Yeah, it's true.
So actually, yeah, it's a definite up.
Yeah.
Being able to put out this major update.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll revise that. It's not a silly one. It was an epic win for us this year. And I think especially considering everything else we've been working on, we're going to talk a bit more about that and the other things we've been working on. Like, this update came in the midst of one of our busiest periods, ever. Probably certainly one of our busiest periods since we launched the Academy, I would say.
Yeah.
So the fact we were able to just kind of sneak out this massive update and member only was cool, because the good thing is now I'm kind of a reformed developer and programmer. It was always that whole side of my toolkit, my arsenal, started as a hobby, just an itch I felt like I wanted to scratch, going back well over a decade when I taught myself how to do this. So now that's kind of what it is again. Like, day to day, we're all about the strategy and the marketing and the businessy stuff, but being able to still scratch that itch of just locking myself away and just writing code is real cool. So it was a lot of fun being able to get that update out. Something else, kind of going back again, almost sticking with the theme of the roadmap and what the new iteration of the roadmap for the Academy has enabled us to do. I would say, like, every single year when we do these episodes, we've talked about an overhaul to the Academy content. So obviously from day one, we had some long-term plans for the new types of content, new features we wanted to bring into the Academy, but we knew we couldn't do these overnight. And so the site's just evolved so much and changed so much since day one. And we've had this tendency to kind of to schedule all these big changes in line with the anniversaries of the Academy. So at the end of year one, we brought out the new roadmap. I think we had a new content library that year. At the end of year two, we had a total overhaul of the content library, actually. At the end of year three, we brought up the brand new roadmap.
The new growth lab.
And the new growth lab, all that sort of stuff. This is the first year where we have an anniversary for the Academy and we're not overhauling anything.
Yeah, and it feels a little weird.
It does,
because but it also feels good.
It's just become tradition. It's like, yeah, okay, now we've got this next major evolution, but Academy 3.0, which is technically where we're at now, which is the growth lab, the new roadmap, and the new content deliverables that are going out every month. That was intended to be the final stage of evolution for the site. That was kind of, this is the thing we want to do to fully and finally realize the vision we had for the Academy when we very first started. And we knew it would take us a while to get there because it was an ambitious vision in terms of the comprehensiveness of the library, the nature of the roadmap, the type of content we want to give to people. And it just feels good 1 year on, from saying this is the final evolution to being able to say, yeah, it was, and it has been. And we haven't cooked up a whole new change, and it's proven to be that final piece of the puzzle. And because of that, this last year has really, I think, seen us enjoy possibly the most stable, consistent, and highest standard of our routine for content that's going out to our members every month.
Yeah, definitely. We've had a really good routine this year with content where, we're putting out an expert workshop every month on a growth focused topic, mainly like webinars or Facebook ad funnels, things like that. We're doing a monthly membership insider, which is something new we brought in, where we go behind the scenes essentially, or walk through an existing membership site, and that's been hugely popular. And then we do our 2 Q&A calls every month as well, which we used to just do one of those.
But we love doing those. Members love those. We're on camera for them. We up those to 2 a month. We do our monthly Academy show, which is kind of our little news roundup. Even things like Member of the Month, which we crown a Member of the Month during the Academy show. All these sorts of stuff, being able to kind of, I can say, finally get locked into that solid, consistent rhythm. Because, again, for the first few years, as we've been evolving, as things have been changing with the Academy, there's been a few false starts, which we talked about before. There's been a few things where we started doing something, and then maybe 3 or 4 months in, it just wasn't hitting the right marks. This has been, I think, the highest quality, like a period of the highest quality content. It's the best time to be an Academy member. They're getting just this consistent top draw stuff. We're putting out, I would say, probably more than we ever have before, but in a way that's not overwhelming, because we're
it's in a more focused way.
Yeah, it's a lot more focused, and it's a lot more about catering to the different types of interests, the different types of needs we have in our member base.
Yeah, and I think the good thing with that is that's all again stemmed from the revamped roadmap, because with that revamped roadmap, we're 100% solid on taking you from idea to launch. And, we don't need to be creating content for those beginner stages anymore.
Yeah, because it would be a distraction.
Yeah, so that's allowed us to completely focus on our ongoing content being completely about helping you grow your membership and manage your membership site. And so that's enabled us to just get that more consistent rhythm and put out that content more regularly.
Yeah, because, we've been saying all along, getting your membership up and running, it might not seem like it, but that's the easiest part. Like, the work really begins once you open the doors to your membership. And, there's other training, there's other kind of things out there that you can piece together to figure out how to build a membership site. But nobody is really taking care of what happens next in a quality, consistent, comprehensive way. And so being able to get that roadmap, and again, this all stems from having this version of the roadmap we implemented a year ago, having that locked in, so we know, okay, if somebody is coming in and they're early on, they haven't got the membership up and running, this is the path. This is what you need to focus on. Just do this. That's been so freeing in a way in enabling us to just get so much more focused in our content production. And a big part of how we've been able to sustain that routine, so this is our 4th up of the year, has just been finding a rhythm with our team as well. So again, I'm pretty sure we've touched on this on some past anniversary episodes. We've not had too high a turnover with our team. We had a community manager who was with us in the early days, who we no longer work with, as she's obviously runs her own membership, so is focused on that. We had a virtual assistant real early on where it just did not work out. And I can't remember if we've talked about this previously. We have. So Callie's given me the move on thing. But yeah, so listen to some of the past episodes for that. But by and large, like, we've been pretty solid in the growth of our team. So we've got people helping on the admin. We've got Sam helping us in the community. People like Caesar Pinto. I know some of our listeners who are Academy members. You'll know Caesar. Caesar helps us, or helps me with the member-only support and stuff like that. We've got James, our fantastic podcast editor. We've started working with a new graphic designer. Our previous one was offered just an employment role that she could not say no to, and we could not gripe with her about saying yes to. But that's, we've kind of haven't missed a beat with that, and Claire's been awesome for us so far. So yeah, I think this year I've just actually enjoyed the fact that we've got this solid team that we're working with who make everything tick along nicely. So yeah, it's a big up. Yeah.
I definitely still need to get better at delegating though.
You need to get a little better at delegating. Part of that, I think, is because your podcast, Behind the Membership, of which we've had a third season just finish. Awesome season. But because that's seasonal, like that becomes a little more of a focused effort once a year. Whereas things like the podcast and stuff like that is the stuff that kind of ticks along nicely in the background. But yeah, I think definitely a thing for the next year, season 4 of Behind the Membership podcast, which we're going to have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll have a season 4. Your challenge is to delegate a little more around that. But yeah, I think our team has been a big up from this past year as well, because it was a period of needing to adapt and get accustomed to not trying to do everything ourselves. I was going to say especially for me, but for both of us.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we've had a good year with our team as well. The next up, what are we on now? Is that 5? Is this up number 5? It is, yes. Yeah. Up number 5, and I find it actually quite funny that we've left it till this point. We've talked about the WordPress theme, we talked about like just getting organized and getting a content routine and all that. Our 5th positive win of the year is breaking that milestone into officially now being a 7-figure membership. And that's not including the period. That's not including the pence or the cents. That's the big 7 with a capital S and 2 commas. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a weird one because I don't know if it's the Brits in us, but
we should try and sound happy about this. Let's try and sound happy about it. This is a good thing, right?
Yeah, and I do think some of it is kind of just our British nature, that it's not something that we've tended to talk about. It's not something we've boasted about or shouted about, or really, like, if you follow us anywhere, you're not going to know that this is the case. And
the thing is, I think some of that's Englishness, because it's almost considered impolite to be successful in England. But some of it, a big part of it, honestly, is the market that we're in. Because there's so many overlaps with the online business, online marketing, internet marketing world. And honestly, 99% of that people there would write a blog post and an income report if they found $1 on the street. Like, they will tell you about every single cent that they make, and they will brag about it and shout from the rooftops. And we're just not like that. We don't like it. It's not our way of doing business, because when you're just shouting about the headline figures and about how much money you make, you get away from the substance, right? And so we could be putting out monthly income reports every month where we say, this is how much we made, this was our churn, and this, that, and the other. But the problem is, when you do that, and when you talk too much about the money and about how much you make and this, that, and the other, that becomes the focal point, not the context behind it. And I think, there's some well-known online marketing bloggers, they publish their income reports, and everybody talks about, how amazing it is that they make all this money, but they don't pay attention to how that money is actually made, and in a lot of cases, the incongruencies between how that money is made and what those people teach, right? And we just have never wanted to get into that whole nonsense. And so we probably sway a little too much in the other direction, in that we're probably a little too understated about the success we've enjoyed with our business. But I'd rather someone be surprised when they hear us, talk about the fact we are now officially a multi-million-dollar membership.
Not multi-million yet.
Not multi-million yet. Well, I don't know. I'd rather people be surprised and taken aback by that, and we've actually had people kind of say, we're quite unassuming in that way. Like, we'd rather that than for people to kind of feel that we just brag about this and that's all we talk about. And I think there's so much out there, and we talked about it previously about how seductive I think some of the stuff out there about memberships can be. The seductive idea of passive income, of the fact that anyone can just, whip up a membership and they'll be making all this amazing money in no time with no effort. There's so much bad stuff out there that focuses on the money that we just didn't want any aspect of our marketing or our promotion to center around that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think also a large part of it comes down to we're not particularly driven by money either.
No.
Like, don't get me wrong, we love making money and the freedom it brings, but it is not our main driving force in why we're doing all of this.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that bank balance accrue, and it allows us to do things like fly business class and things like that.
First class. First class. Come on.
And to keep our cat in the lifestyle to which he's become accustomed, importantly. But it's definitely not our driving force for why we're doing this. And it's never been that we wanted to, we never had this goal of we need to be at 7 figures by this date or anything like that.
We've never measured success in our bank balance. But don't get us wrong, we're entrepreneurs, we're driven, we're ambitious, but we've always been driven that little bit more about the lifestyle that our business affords us, rather than the toys and the money in the bank and this, that, and the other. Now, obviously, in a lot of cases, you need the money to facilitate a certain lifestyle and to help you reduce and eliminate stress and anxiety and all that sort of stuff. But I'd rather be happy with half as much money in the bank than be filthy rich and miserable, because we've been in positions where we've enjoyed success in business and in life, but been absolutely thoroughly miserable, unhealthy, burned out, and our drive is much more away from that than it is towards a huge pot of money. But yeah, so it kind of feels like we're having to justify a lot about why we're not tweeting every 5 minutes about, hey, look how much money we've made. But hopefully that just gives a little bit more of an insight into kind of what drives us, and also why becoming a 7-figure membership officially is number 5 on our list of highlights from the last year.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice from almost a completionist. Like, honestly, we've talked about, I don't know if we talked on the show before about this, but we've certainly talked about it personally. Like, for us, the only reason we kind of wanted to hit that 7-figure mark and to be able to say 7-figure membership is so we can check off that box and say, yeah, 7-figure membership. That's awesome. It's purely from the completionist perspective. It's almost like playing video games. It's a little achievement that's popped up, because actually from a financial point of view, again, we're not particularly massive spenders. We're not, we have a nice house and lots of nice things and all that sort of stuff. But like we hit a point where we were comfortable and happy with our income, like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, we're actually at a point where we need to try and find how to bring our profit down.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And that's going to be an interesting one for next year, because that, now you get the point. I think because we both ran, like we both ran our own businesses before, and we're both small businesses, entrepreneurs, and we both work freelance and all that sort of stuff. For the longest time, your focus is just on getting money. Like, in terms of, first of all, I need to make enough money to sustain just my ability to keep the lights on. Then I need to, make enough money to invest a little in the business and grow the business. And so you definitely hit that point where actually just making more money works against you. So the interesting thing over the next year is going to be bringing profit margins down and, looking at what we can invest in within the business to take things to that next level, as opposed to just, well, hey, we're just stacking revenue on top of revenue. And hey, isn't it awesome? We've got like a 94% profit margin. Well, it is.
Until tax time comes.
Yeah, it is until the tax man comes and you think, actually, you know what? If we'd spend half of that, then like the tax man would have got a lot less money, but we would have had a lot more return for, anyway.
Yeah. And the last thing I kind of want to say on this milestone for us is actually the most important thing and the most meaningful thing to me about it is the number of people that means that we've helped and are helping. So that figure means that, in the lifetime of the Academy, we now have over 2,000 active members, which is awesome. That's people we're helping to kind of build and grow their memberships. And in the entire lifetime of the Academy, we've helped over 3,500 people now. And to me, that's just incredible that we've been able to have that reach and that impact on so many people.
Isn't it around 4,000? Is it not getting a bit closer to that?
I'm not sure. But anyway, but it's just a huge amount of people that we've been able to support, and I never quite envisioned it getting that to that size when we first started.
No, I mean, if you think when we very, very first started, we kind of had the assumption we'd be local, so we'd be more UK focused, that we'd have a nice little membership ticking over, and we'd probably still like go out to little local networking events and business events and kind of spread the word that way, and maybe we'd have some we'd do some small local meetups with our members and all that. Like again, we had ambitions, but I don't think we quite foresaw this. And actually that kind of brings us into another big up, and possibly one of the biggest of the year, which was our rebrand. And the reason they connect is we did an episode about the rebrand a couple of months ago. And one of the major factors in rebranding Membership Guys, and particularly the Academy, was the fact that we finally were able to change the name of the Academy from Member Site Academy to Membership Academy. So that was a whole process. If you're interested in that, how that came about, why we weren't Membership Academy from the get-go, then check out that episode. We'll link to it in the show notes. But the way that ties to kind of original expectations and ambitions for the membership was that we'd bought Membership Academy's domain name, but it was membershipacademy.co.uk. And that was subconsciously, I don't know, an indicator of the fact that we never thought this would be more than a little UK-centric online community. And the fact that we didn't even, I don't even think we tried for the .com.
No, we did. We knew somebody else had it.
Okay, yeah. So we knew someone else. Yeah, we knew someone else had it, but we were kind of like, it's no issue because we'll get the .co.uk. We'll just focus on our people here in the UK, and it'll never be so big that it would be an issue. Like any confusion with the name or anything like that. So yeah, that was a funny one. Anyway, the rebrand has definitely been a big highlight for us.
Yeah.
The name was such a thorn in our side.
Yeah, and it's been odd how such a seemingly small change has just changed the mindset a little bit as well. In terms of, just for me anyway, just how I think and refer to the Academy. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, okay, we're 4 years in, but it almost feels like, okay, we've got this last piece, now we can get started.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. Now we can start.
Yeah, look out world.
Let's not get in. Look out world, here we come. No, but it does kind of feel like, okay, 4 years.
There's more confidence in the brand now.
Yeah, definitely, because... yeah, we talked about this on the other episode where I covered the rebrand, but doesn't matter how many people are listening to the podcast, how many people came to our website, how much we dominated search, how many members, how much money. When your own members and biggest fans are still calling the membership by the wrong name, which is what was happening consistently with the Academy, because Member Site Academy does not roll off the tongue. Nobody calls memberships member sites. We knew, you knew, everyone knew it was Member Site Academy because we didn't have Membership Academy. It was the Membership Guys, so it should have been Membership Academy. But we just weren't able to make that happen in those early days. So definitely the confidence in the strength of the name, the strength of the brand, because there was always that fear. Anytime, even like encouraging other people to spread the word about the membership, there was always that little fear in the back of the head. I hope they call it the right name. Like genuinely, I've had people on the podcast. I'm not going to say their name because they're good friends. We love them and all that sort of stuff. But I had to make notes beforehand. Make sure that I repeat before we start recording, and a couple of times during the interview, that I repeat the name of our membership several times, because this person has a tendency to call it the wrong name. And that is going to be embarrassing if I have to correct them during the interview or what have you. And so, like, just that, having that little sword dangling over us in everything that we did to promote the Academy, it meant that we never really went at it full throttle.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, the new logo, I was never happy with the logo. I've talked about this in the other episode. The logo was a $5 template that I bought from Theme Forest, from Design Crowd, somewhere. Like, that was never meant to be a long-term logo, and it lasted us nearly like 3.5 years.
You're really just excited that you've now got something you can create swag with.
But that's the thing, like the logo, it sucked from the perspective of like, can we create stickers? Can we create notebooks and all that? Like, it just, I hated it. I was going to say I created it, but I didn't. I tweaked this template. I can design this stuff myself, and we were stuck with this. I just didn't like it. So yeah, that's a big, big, big plus. And as I think that word you said there, confidence, the confidence we can now go forward with, I think, with the brand. And the new look and feel, I think, is a lot more us. And yeah, it's cool. And it's been fun as we prepare for our conference, which is happening in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Which is terrifying. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to kind of sleeping at the end of September.
I'm now looking at Callie, wondering if my face has gone as white as hers has gone on actually saying out loud that this is happening in 2 weeks at the time of recording. And at the time of publication, actually. So just creating, like, designing T-shirts and stuff like that for Retain, incorporating the new branding, like, it would have just been such a different kettle of fish with the old brand. Anyway, so this brings us to the 7th up and
the first down.
Yes, this is very much a double-edged sword thing. It's an up and a down, and that is the Retain conference. Without question, this has been probably since this time last year when we did last year's anniversary episode.
Yeah, we started planning it end of August last year. So it's been a year in the making, and that's been an up and down year.
It's definitely been an up and down year.
We're going to do a full debrief on it afterwards, aren't we?
So I think I did an episode about 6 months ago, kind of talking about the early evolution of this idea. And I talked about the fact we had a couple of little body blows to begin with in terms of the name. Like we were all systems go on calling it a certain thing, and then we ended up not being able to. We had a big issue with the original venue. So there were a couple of gut punches real early on in the process. But, we kind of, once those were out the way, I would say smooth sailing in terms of we haven't had any major nasty surprises or anything like that. But this has been 12 months of consistent work, planning, promotion. And it's an up and a down because we've had this itch since before we started the Academy. This was always in the plans, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was always something we wanted to have, this live event to bring. Yeah,
you in particular. Like, this is... You love, well,
I love hosting things.
Let's say you loved, past tense, the idea of running a conference.
Yeah, I love organising this kind of thing. I love all the little details and planning and all of that. And I love actually hosting and getting people in a room and taking care of them and things like that.
And we've done it before. We've done mastermind days.
Scale,
We've done smaller events, mastermind days, workshops in San Diego. And I had nothing to do with those. Callie took the reins. She organised everything. And knocked it out of the park. Even our member meetups, like I have nothing to do with them. I do a little graphic to put on social media, and then I turn up. Like Callie organizes the whole lot. So this was something you were real excited about doing.
Yeah, and it has been an exciting process. I still love all of those things, and we do have an event team that's helping us as well. So we haven't had to do quite everything ourselves, but it has been exciting, and I have enjoyed a lot of it. And the most important thing is, when we first started planning this and decided we were going to have it in Newcastle, which we knew was a bit of a risk, we were aiming for 100 people to come.
Yeah,
and
we wanted it to be big enough so that you would meet enough people and have enough networking opportunities to get some real value from being in a room with fellow membership owners. But we also wanted it to be small enough so that it was still intimate, and so that those conversations you were having were more than just 30 seconds in the hallway. So yeah, that original goal was for 100 people.
Yeah, and we figured most of them would be UK and European based and things. And now, 2 weeks before the event, we're looking at more like 170, 180 people in the room who are coming from all over the world. We've got people coming from Australia, Canada, America, South Africa,
Russia.
Dubai. Yeah, Russia is turned into this international event, which it's awe-inspiring to me that these are people that are traveling to our hometown for this event that we're creating. I still can't quite
it's a bit of
believe
pressure
that.
It's a little bit of pressure.
It's a bit of pressure, but it's also
very
there's
humbling.
something very humbling, and very moving about it as well. And I'm fingers crossed because we're pulling out all the stops, and I think it's going to be an awesome event. But listen in a few weeks when we'll be doing a debrief for you.
Yeah, it is. But it's going to be a great event. We are very excited about it. We needed to scratch this itch because we've been wanting to do for so long, and I think the time was absolutely right for doing it. So there's a lot of good to it.
But the downside has been that there's a couple of downsides. The main downside for me has been the constant selling of tickets. It's very different to how we promote and sell the Academy. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like it. Honestly, I don't like that kind of constant sales machine of trying to sell tickets and things because it gets boring.
It is boring. That is it. It's like once you've got the speaker lineup, and once you've got the venue and you've got the details, and these are all things that you kind of want to nail down early on, there's not that much more to say. There's only so many ways you can sell a 2-day conference. And there's only so many ways in which you can talk about the speakers and talk about the reasons to be in the room. And when you start as far in advance as we did, a year out, we very first started selling tickets, you run out of angles. You run out of fresh new ways of promoting the event, and it gets so boring. With a membership, in particular, like for us, like a lot of our sales and marketing happens very organically. It's word of mouth and this, that, and the other. But also we've got fresh content coming out all the time, so we can be talking about these cool new things. We've got testimonials coming regularly. We've got members sharing successes and wins that we can then talk about on our social channels. So there's a lot more to work with, and it's a lot more fun and dynamic and changing. But with an event, it's such a boring product to sell.
And it's also...
And that's... just to reiterate, it's not a boring event, but purely as a product to sell and to sit down and think of, okay, like what can we do to push ticket sales? What can we do to take advantage of the fact that the early bird deadlines are running out? Like, it's so boring. So boring.
Yeah, it's just not the sales style that we like or are used to. So that for us has been a bit of an adjustment. And related to that, it's been a down because we knew it was going to take time. We knew it was going to be a big project, but we didn't quite factor in how much it was going to take us away from other things. And so don't get us wrong, the Academy is still our priority. As we said before, everything in the Academy is up this year, and we've got this great content routine and things. But there's also things that we would have loved to have done if our time wasn't taken away by doing Retain.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think it is very much that double-edged sword, just because it's been a sustained year-long distraction.
Yeah.
Because it was never, when we have no intention to get into the events business, it was always almost intended as the meetup of all member meetups. It's something to help us to even further serve our members and our audience, to really kind of elevate the experience they have as being a part of our audience, our family, our membership. We have no intention of suddenly becoming an events business. So taking that into consideration, just the amount of distraction that this has been, and the amount of bandwidth, the amount of brain power, and also it's a very different kind of working. It's a very different type of activity, planning an event and arranging all of them. And so switching from academy mode to retain mode has taken its toll a little bit on us as well, just in terms of how we like to run our business, our day-to-day and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we were saying earlier that, for us, running this business is all about, it's a lifestyle business, essentially. It's like that, and retain has taken us away from that a bit. I mean, for me personally, my anxiety levels have never been higher.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I probably played more video games.
You've crushed it on the video game playing.
Yeah, we're still, again, anyone who's been around us for a while will know, when we talk about lifestyle, what we really mean is we want to sit and play video games.
Or travel.
Or, work 3 or 4 days a week. And yeah, we're all about that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah. We've had
Living like college students is basically our life goals.
Yeah, but we've had to put a stop to No Work Friday for the last few months. I'm looking forward to bringing that back in.
Yeah, well, last December, we wanted to do No Work December.
Yeah.
And literally take the whole of December off.
I'm totally doing that this year.
We say that every year. This year, we will be. So, yeah. So it's been a distraction, particularly because, we know some other people where they do events. The event is basically a smokescreen for a sales pitch for something they want to sell. They just use the event as a way of getting more money from you. That's not what this is for us.
Yeah, it's not exactly a trade secret. We're not selling anything at this event. So for our attendees, there's not going to be a big pitch for a mastermind or anything like that. It's purely an event for an event's sake.
Yeah, it's what an event should be. The aim of the event is you'll come, you'll learn some stuff, you'll meet some people, you'll pick up some value and tips that you can go away, implement, and that will help you have more success in your membership. That is the modus operandi for the event, and that's it. There's no agenda. Well, there's an agenda when speakers on, but there's no hidden agenda. We're not going to do like 3 days.
You're not going to need to get your credit card out.
No, exactly. There's too many of those events in the world, and that's just not how we roll. We don't like misleading our audience or mistreating them in that way. And so, again, with that in mind, like we don't have to be doing this. We chose to do this because we thought it would be awesome, and
it will be.
It'll be awesome on the day, and it'll be awesome for the attendees. But from a business point of view, it has definitely been a bit of a mixed bag, and I think...
And it's a lot more stressful than running the membership.
Honestly, some of it is just how much you have to rely on other people having their stuff together in tune with you. So printers, suppliers, speakers, sponsors, like there's so many different moving parts, so many different people you need to have singing from the same hymn sheet. And so we'll dig into the ins and outs of it a bit more in a few weeks' time when everything's all said and done. We'll be doing a debrief episode where we'll either be talking about how much of a disaster it was, which it won't be, or how amazing it is and how actually you can ignore everything we've said today. And even though it's hard work, we're doing 3 new conferences every year. Nope, that won't be the case. But, we'll have that full debrief once it's all said and done. But as we come up to kind of the 1 year mark of when we started really pushing forward on this, it's definitely a mixed bag, mostly for the degree to which it's probably caused us to take our foot off the gas a little bit with the membership. Good thing is, membership has not suffered for it. It's enjoyed exponential growth, more members, more revenue. Our podcast listens are up, our website visits are up, just our YouTube subscribers, despite the fact that we've neglected our YouTube channel since day one, like this. We've still got like a couple of thousand of subscribers. Like we're enjoying growth in every single area of the business. So it hasn't been detrimental.
It's just not how we've wanted to work.
Yeah, it's this. Yeah, I would agree. This is maybe we probably had. I don't want to say chaotic, but we definitely overextended ourselves a bit more this year, and that's our second down of the last 12 months. Not just related to retain, but I would say overall we have probably overextended ourselves a little much in this last year.
Yeah, definitely. We started the year saying, we just wanted quite an easy year. We were just going to do the academy and retain, and that was it. And it hasn't quite worked out like that because, in between there, we've already talked about we had the rebrand, we had the member-only theme. We've also been working on a couple of top secret projects that will be revealed soon.
Yes.
Plus retain, plus the academy. It's been a lot.
It has been a lot. And even, we're talking about, we're saying about the routine we've got with our content. Now, obviously, the fact we've got retain coming up has meant that, like, we've had to make sure we were batch producing months worth of content in advance in order to free up our time to work on retain. So even that, like, we basically had this big traffic jam, I would say, between the end of May, maybe actually the beginning of May and now. We've had this pile up, really, of stuff to work on. We've had the member-only theme, which needed to be done, because it was kind of overdue, a major update, and there were some changes with WordPress that necessitated a major update. The rebrand, which, again, if you listen to the episode we did about our rebrand, you'll know why the timing of that originally it had to be done then, this year, to coincide with retain. As it turned out, maybe we could have avoided that, but by that point, things were already in motion. So we did the rebrand. We've got these other projects we've been working on, which you'll find out more about in the next month or so, plus retain, plus batch producing months of content to enable us to work on retain. That all happened within the kind of quarter two, halfway through quarter two, beginning of quarter three. And that definitely overextended things. So Callie mentioned before, I think anxiety levels for both of us, the stress levels are probably higher than they have been for a while, just because of how much has been going on. We said goodbye to No Work Fridays. We've worked more weekends than we care to. We don't like working weekends. There's been more than a few working into the small hours of the night to make all this happen. And the thing is, from the outside looking in, you wouldn't know any of this. And I think it's probably testament to all the other things we talked about in terms of the team, in terms of the routine and all that sort of stuff, that everything we've still been able to deliver at a high level in all areas. We've still been
able to support our members on a daily basis.
I mean, if you're an Academy member, even when all this is going on, we're still in there answering your questions and answering your posts every day. So yeah, from the outside looking in, you wouldn't know it, but we've definitely overextended ourselves more than we have before in this business.
Yeah.
Now, still not a patch on in previous life when we're in the agency and all that sort of stuff. Like, we haven't yet had getting up at 6 a.m, working through till 3 a.m, and running on fumes yet. And as I think the workload for the retain event, we've broken the back of it now. We're in that final stretch and everything's kind of in place. We just need to practice our talks now. So I think we're through the hardest part. So yeah, but this is definitely, when we talk about the lifestyle that this business is created to afford us, this is definitely the furthest we've gotten away from that in a long time.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be dialing it back next year.
Next year is very much about getting back to basics, about, I would say, refocusing on the academy. But as we said, for having an eye off the academy for periods of this year, we've still done ridiculously well. We've still delivered the best period, the best content awesome growth. We've gone from averaging about 3 to 4 members a day to averaging more around 6 members a day, which is funny because this is probably the one year in which we've actually not really done anything.
Yeah, it's all through search and content.
Yeah, we haven't done anything particularly unique or different or tried any new marketing tactics. We've kind of I don't want to say we've coasted, but from a sales and marketing point of view, we've kind of coasted.
Yeah, definitely from a sales and marketing point of view, we've coasted. Yeah. We've taken our foot off the gas there, but it's been nice to see that actually we've succeeded anyway.
And the thing is, the reason we've been able to do that is because we worked hard for years.
Yeah, that was 3 years of build up for that.
Exactly. You know, we say it coasted, but our podcast still goes out every week. We've
did a season 3 of Behind the Membership.
Still did a season 3 Behind the Membership. Still kind of stepped things up with our content. So now actually you'll see when we're putting out new podcast episodes, they are accompanied by a full blog that covers that topic rather than just being the podcast episode. So actually, you know, that's our version of coasting, right? But yeah, next year is more about focusing back on the academy because a lot of fun little things we want to try, we've had to postpone a little bit. A lot of little experiments or a lot of, you know, like little tactics we've been itching to give a shot at, you know, for marketing on the academy. We've had to hang fire on those. So yeah, next year, back to basics, less stress, get back to the mission at hand. So because that definite down is that overextension. And then the final down, this is just kind of a quick one. We definitely, and I don't think this is just me, seen, it felt like we've seen more copycats this year.
Yeah, definitely.
We see more people just outright ripping off our content, ripping off our ideas. The more frustrating ones where actually they come and they'll use our site as the basis for their content in terms of the substance and the key points. So they take the message, they take the ideas and the intelligence and the substance and the research behind our content, and then they just regurgitate it in their own words. Like, we're seeing so much more of that. Even little tidbits, little nuggets of wisdom, little sound bites or specific things we say, we're starting to see crop up with others, you know, even people who are supposedly, you know, well known, big in certain industries. Like, they're parroting stuff that we've been saying for years and putting their name on it. And it's tiring. You know, we've done an episode about people stealing your content before, in which kind of make it clear we have a scorched earth, no holds barred approach to this. Like, we get hardcore, we get legal because we work too hard at this to let it fly. But it's tiring.
Yeah.
It's more tiring just because you look at it and say, but you must know, like, this, the world of online memberships, it's small. Like, it might feel bigger than it is if you're running a membership, because you have that whole red car syndrome where if you own a red car, it seems like everyone has a red car. So if you have a membership, it might seem like everybody's talking about memberships and the world of online memberships is huge. But as a market, as a niche or a niche, it's actually quite small. So of course we're going to notice if you're ripping off our stuff. Of course we're going to notice if, you know, you're taking sound bites and quotes and little tidbits of wisdom or pearls of wisdom we've been saying for ages and suddenly bandying it around as if it's your own. And if we don't spot it, our audience will spot it. We have a big audience. We've got the number one podcast in the field. We dominate search for the most part for everything related to memberships. We've got a good sized audience and they like what we do, and so they tell us if you're nicking our stuff. So yeah, I think that continues to be a down, and it's a shame because I think
it just makes me sad.
It's not tiring or saddening or downheartening because of the fact that people are nicking our stuff, because we squash that. Like, when we become good at squashing that, it's just like, come on, man, just try harder. Just be better than that. Like, yeah. So That
That's a nice note to leave things on.
It's a nice note to leave things on. Stop nicking our stuff. No, but I think I just want to get that in there because it is like we had an incident fairly recently, and it's just like, again, come on, man. So, yeah. So those are our 7 ups, 3 downs. So the freeing nature of the brand new roadmap that we intended to be the final piece of the puzzle, the final stage of evolution in terms of major developments for the membership, has proven to be that and has enabled us to help members get even further and make even more progress. Massive win for us. It's also enabled us to, or freed us up a bit more to establish just a real great routine with regular content going out to our members. It is the best time to be an Academy member right now because we're giving you guys the good stuff each and every month, and it's awesome, and it's content that we have a lot of fun creating, especially the Membership Insider. Those are awesome. Those rock.
Oh, no, you won't let me do any?
Well, you could watch them, you know.
I've watched them.
Okay.
It's just
so they're good, though.
You've
they're
taken
fun.
them on as your baby, and I'm like, do you want me to do the Membership Insider this month?
No,
like,
it's
no,
mine.
no.
It's mine. I like the whole just hit record and just say what I see and say what I feel as we go through these memberships. Anyway, so that was the third up. The third is just the nice rhythm we're being able to get into with our team. I feel while, you know, it's always going to be a learning curve, it's always going to be I don't want to say difficult, but there's always challenges with having a distributed team. I'm real happy, real confident with the people we have helping us make all this stuff happen. We also mentioned the member-only update as being a personal highlight for me, and I'm sure for a lot of our members who are using that theme. The breaking through to that 7-figure milestone, being way down on the list of our wins. Most people would lead with that, but, you know, as we said, we have reasons why we don't focus as much on the numbers as other people do, but that's in no way saying that this hasn't been a huge, very proud accomplishment for us, and one that we plan to build on and build on. It's mostly such a big positive because it's just part of just this continued sustained growth that we've had since year one. And yeah, we keep going from strength to strength, which is very, very gratifying to be able to say. Our rebrand, probably one of our second biggest undertaking of the past 12 months, and a one we're very proud with, very pleased about, and so much more confident moving ahead. And our seventh up, which is also our first down, the Retain Conference. A lot of work. It's going to be worth it. The payoff will be worth it, but man, it's been a little bit of a slog getting here. The overextension of us and kind of the distraction factor, not just from Retain, but from all the other things we've been working on, certainly getting further away from the kind of lifestyle, the kind of day-to-day that we want to have in our business. That's something we certainly want to correct over the next 12 months. And then finally, those ever-present copycats, which I suppose you could say are a symptom of success, but still, go away, stop it. Get on my nerves, man. All right, what is next? Very quickly, what is next for the Academy in the next 12 months?
Well, we're not planning any, big evolutions, big changes and things, as we said before. Academy 3.0 is kind of
the final version.
The final version, almost.
It's kind of like Die Hard. They should have stopped after 3.
But what we are keen to do is that we have some cool plans in place to help our members in the growth stage even further as well. So we're really focusing, after Retain's over, on putting some great things in place for our growth-based members. And
this is mostly around kind of member experience, as opposed to, here's this new type of content, here's this new, our plans are more, it's refinement, it's about fine-tuning that member experience.
Updating some of our older content is a big thing we want to do.
That's a big thing, because some, there's courses we've either wanted to do or wanted to update for a while now. And again, it'll be nice to have nothing major on the agenda that distracts us from doing that.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to kind of focusing back that kind of pretty much 100% attention on the Academy again. And as you said, going back to basics with being able to experiment a little bit more with things like our marketing and things like that as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to a simpler year next year, but definitely not a quiet one as such.
Yeah, definitely. And, I do think that the joint focus on retain, and the thing is, we said before, the membership is all we do, it's all we sell. That's not actually true. We've got books, we've done workshops, we've done little events, we've done kind of a high level mastermind program. But despite all that, the membership has always been the core big thing that we sell, that we deliver in, that we focus all our time in. And this past 12 months has been the first time in the run of this business where that hasn't been 100% the case. So it'll be nice to shift gears back to the part of the business we love, because we still love the membership. And the thing that the kind of distraction and some of the overextension has done has kind of meant that I think in some ways it's forced us to become more efficient with the membership, and that's something that we're going to benefit from going forward. But also what it's done, it's taken away that little margin in which we could just play.
Yeah.
We could just play. We could just have fun. We could experiment.
Yeah.
The 80%, if you go with the 80-20 rule, you got the 80%, which is your core. That's the content we're putting out. That's the answering questions in the forum. That's showing up and serving and delivering every day. But then you have that 20% where you get to be a bit looser. You get to play. You get to experiment with new tactics. You get to fail. You get to try stuff, throw stuff at the wall. And that's the bit we haven't been able to do this past year because we've had to focus on retain. So it'd be nice to get back to that.
Have some space for spontaneity as well.
Yeah, space for spontaneity, space for fun, space to take a month off and just play video games. No. So I'm looking forward to that breathing room.
I really am, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we say that, but then we have got a couple of secret projects we've been working on. But
these
they're
are
not going to be anything like this year.
They're very different. These aren't day-to-day distractions. So, some really exciting stuff coming up. And like I say, who knows, in 3 weeks' time, when we put out the episode, which is debriefing retain, and we talk about the lessons learned and this, that, and the other, man, we might have a different perspective. Maybe we're expecting the payoff for retain to be worth it in terms of the experience and in terms of the feeling of being able to put on this kind of event for our audience. But who knows, maybe it's going to exceed our wildest expectations, and actually we're going to be like, we need to do this all the time. It's probably not going to be the case. Spoiler alert. Yeah. But who knows? We'll see. All right. I think that's it for another year. Hopefully, you've found this little peek behind the curtain useful, interesting, entertaining, a way to pass time while you wait for something better. I don't know. Hopefully, it's filled a gap in your day. As always, we'd love to hear from you guys. Whether there's anything we've talked about which resonates with you, have we put you off the idea of doing an event for your own membership? Or have we given you some inspiration for something you want to try out? I don't know. Give us a shout on Twitter at Membership Guys, on Instagram at Membership Guy, because Callie's not allowed on my Instagram account, because it's my Instagram account. She's got her own. Or, of course, if you're on Facebook, let us know your thoughts inside our free Facebook group. If you type Membership Mastermind into the search bar, you will find it. Or go to talkmemberships.com. That'll redirect you to our group. We've got about 13,000 membership site owners in there. Myself, Callie, and the team pop in as well. And I'm very keen to hear any thoughts, any feedback, or any additions you have on the back of what we talked about today. That is it from me. That is it from her.
It is.
Thank you for listening as we come to this 4th anniversary of Membership Academy, which is really when the Membership Guys properly took off. We launched Membership Guys a little way before that, but the birth of the Academy was really the birth of the brand, and we want to thank each and every one of you for every podcast listen, every blog post visit. If you're a member of the Academy, of course, we absolutely love you. Thank you so much for all your support and for being with us over the past 4 years. We hope that you'll stick around with us for years and years to come. We're very excited for what is ahead, and I'll be back again in 12 months to let you know how year 5 has gone. Until then, actually not until then, until next week, that is it from me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. See you later.
Take care, guys.
If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks, and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership website. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.